Shalom, giving honor and praise unto Yah, the creator and the maker of heaven and earth. This is your brother Yeshaya, aka Kashub the Danite. So I want to sit there and make this quick video concerning the aspect of, do the Jewish people keep the laws, the statutes, and the commandments? And that is to say, the Torah. Emphatically, no. That's something to be noted and understood. Now, the custodians of the Torah are the children of Israel. When you go in the book of Psalms 147, it lets you know good and well that the other nations were not given the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. Exodus chapter 4, verse 22 lets us know that the children of Israel is what? The son of the Most High, even the firstborn of the Most High. So that's something to be noted and understood. The other nations did not get a portion like unto the portion of the children of Israel. When you go in the book of Numbers, chapter 23, we emphatically know, see, and understand that the children of Israel was not to be reckoned among the nations. So when you're trying to sit there and fit other peoples and other nations in the covenant, it's not going to work out. You understand? Now, the Hebrew word for integrate is the word lakad. It is the same Hebrew root word, brothers and sisters, that speaks about being as a captive, because the word lakud means captivity. So that's something to be noted and understood when you're getting into the Hebrew linguistics of a matter. Now, one of the things I realized as a brother who is what you call quote unquote Old Testament based and so forth and so on, dealing with the European white Jews, they seem to have an attitude that may sit there and feel as if black people do not know how to speak Hebrew or how to deal intelligently within a conversation. So once it comes down to that particular matter, and one of the things that they try to do to be slick is they will say some foolishness, such as saying that, yeah, well, the people in the ancient world and the Bible, they were a dark people. Don't come to us with that. The children of Israel black. Let that be noted and understood. They try to say dark as opposed to the word black because they don't want to sit there and have to deal with the fact that they don't fit in being the children of Israel. So that's something, brothers and sisters, to be noted hands down and understood. All right. So now, even if you take it in the Tanakh, which is why the Jewish people deal with the Talmud and the Zohar and all these other things, because they don't fit the prophecies nor being the people of the scriptures. So they got to sit there and deal with the Talmud in order to sit there and have some kind of relevance into anything, because they do not fit within the prophecies of the scriptures. And one of them is an example. Jewish people would teach that we've been keeping the laws of Hashem since the days of Abraham and so forth and so on, and we've been keeping the covenant. Well, if that's the case, then that means you're not the children of Israel, because right in what we call the 7th century BCE and within the 6th century BCE, the children of Israel were noted for breaking the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. When you go in Jeremiah chapter 16, it says, you and your fathers have disobeyed the laws of Yah. So that right there lets it be noted and understood. The Jewish man by default cuts himself off from being the same people as the children of Israel, because they are not even the descendants of those who broke the laws of the Most High. They're not the people who were chosen by the Most High who wound up breaking the covenant, nor are they the people who can even keep the covenant, because they're not the people who's chosen of the Most High. So these are things to be noted and understood. Now, what happens in certain things, very brief, I want to speak on the so-called Kemetic conscious, quote unquote, conscious community. They try to sit there and get into the fact of saying, well, the black Hebrew Israelites are basically getting their things from the Jewish people. But that's not the case, because when you look at Jewish people, they don't go around trying to convert anybody like Christians do. So that's something to be noted and understood. And their paid scholar, that is to say Chancellor Williams, who basically died alone within the hood of New York City, not to sound harsh or anything like that, who wrote that lie in his book, Destruction of Black Civilization, written in 1987. This is now the year 2016. So that book is 29 years old. And you mean to sit there and tell me y'all still quoting the same scholars back then? Nobody came out with no new reference material. Nobody came out with no book since then. Come on, y'all got to be kidding me. That right there is just ridiculous at that particular point. But in that book, that person said that The Hebrews, parentheses Jews, or Jews, parentheses Hebrews, were white in ancient times. So we begin know and see good and well how those kind of people operate and how those kind of people function. They actually don't sit there and deal in history. They don't sit there and deal in understanding. So that's something to be noted and understood in that particular case. Now, the next thing to sit there and point out, my brothers and sisters, is the fact that when you get into the scriptures, into the prophecies that speak of the children of Israel and the future of the house of Israel, it speaks about them having what we understand as the third temple. It speaks about them having the seed of the king of David ruling upon the land of Israel and over the tribes of Israel. It speaks about them setting up the priesthood under the seed line of the high priest Zadok. Those things there cannot be accomplished by the European Jews because they are not the children of Israel. So since they don't fit in those prophecies, they then have to now try to circumvent, as stated earlier, and try to wiggle their way in by trying to be sarcastic, disrespectful, and rude, and have no kind of understanding, and then be some of the racist people upon the face of the earth. So that's something to sit there and point out. Now, the people who are the Arabs, that some of them in Egypt, some of them in Yemen, some of them in other places, they know good and well that the children of Israel that were scattered from their land during the time of the Roman Empire were people of color. This is why the guy named Ansar Sadat stated that you will not have peace because you left black and you trying to come back white. This was stated before 1955. This was stated when they was trying to sit there and get the land of Israel. Now, hopping back to the so-called conscious Kemetic, quote-unquote, conscious community, they will sit there and ask Israelites, well, the land of Israel, the Israel people were there since 1948. That just go to show you, you don't even know basic black history, because you have black people, even in America, laying claim to being the children of Israel, dated ever since 1919, in the era of what they call Rabbi Ford, dated to the time of Rabbi Matthews, dating back to the 1920s. So that right there, brothers and sisters, just go to show you that they have no kind of concept and understanding. There were black people acknowledging themselves as being the children of Israel in the United States, even before the European Jews got the land of Israel by the UN sanction. So that's something to be noted and understood. Now, getting back into the premise of what I'm speaking on concerning trying to amalgamate the European Jew into being with us as the house of Israel. Anybody who is saying that they want to say they want to keep the laws and the statutes and the commandments, but you are at the same time bearing false witness, which is against the laws of Shemot chapter 20 or Exodus chapter 20, you have it to let it be noted and understood that you cannot sit there and fit in. It says emphatically, Lo ta'ane bara'aka ed shakwir. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. So now it also says that a lying tongue is an abomination to the Most High when you go into the scriptures. In light of that, I will be lying, committing an abomination if I were to sit there and state that Cleopatra was a black woman, knowing good and well that the people of Cleopatra were the Ptolemies, who were part of the Greek people, who were not black people. So that's something to be noted and understood. Under that same premise, the European Jew trying to sit there and say that he can fit in as far as being the house of Israel, talking about, well, it's about the deeds that make you the people. No, it doesn't, because you had wicked Israelites. Jeroboam was an Israelite, and he was wicked. Datan and Abiram, they were Israelites, and they were wicked. So what the European Jew tries to do is take the ethnic identity and the culture of the ancient house of Israel and then trying to sit there and make it a Jewish religion. And because he don't fit in, he has to now try to sit there and amalgamate to other aspects. So now, the black people who want to sit there and say, well, okay, they are keeping the laws and they're keeping the commandments. How are they keeping, my friend or whoever the people may be? And I've heard this from a couple of so-called black people talking about Jewish people are okay and cool if they want to keep the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. How is that when they are sitting up there and, as stated earlier, endorsing the Talmud? The Talmud teaches emphatically that Ham was cursed with being black because he supposedly had sex upon the ark and Noah's ark. That's not within the scriptures. So the concepts that came from Rambam and Rashi and the rest of them and so forth and so on is not of the children of Israel. So to try to sit there and mix that in there, you have to, one, either as a black person, not like black people, disrespect black people, tell your black brother or sister that you're not their friend in order to comfortably sit there and deal with other nations. So that's just what it is right there. Just going to end this out at the 10-minute. All right, shalom, peace to everybody of my people.